Good morning. English Ned here, broadcasting to you from my YouTube channel for the second time today. Um, I'm on a kick this morning with some more lighthearted things, and I'm reading some classic fairy stories for my kids and for all children. Now, I was on yesterday. I have three young boys, and I've been separated from them for most of this year for unfortunate reasons. But I was chatting with them yesterday on a video call, and particularly the youngest one is missing me a lot and misses my reading. So I said to him, "Would you like me to read you a story?" And he said, "Oh, yeah." And I said, "Great." I said, "I hope you've been listening because I've been sending your brother links for all kinds of videos I'm making where I can tell you stories and you can watch me telling them. But this one I'm telling for you today is special." So I sat and told him this one while I was on the phone with him on video chat. So hopefully what he was watching was much like what you'll see right now. This comes from this book here. I don't know what the story is yet that's got the illustration about, but these are Norwegian fairy tales. And apparently I had a book of them when I was a kid because I read most of the stories in this thing and they're just fabulous. So this one is called, it's pretty short. It's called Boots Who Made the Princess Say, "That's a Story." Once on a time there was a king who had a daughter, and she was such a dreadful storyteller that the like of her was not to be found far or near. So the king gave out that if anyone could tell such a string of lies as would get her to say, "That's a story," he should have her to wife and half the kingdom besides. Well, many came. You may fancy to try their luck, for everyone would have been very glad to have the princess, to say nothing of half the kingdom. But they all cut a sorry figure, for the princess was so given to storytelling that all their lies went in one ear and out of the other. Amongst the rest came three brothers to try their luck, and the two elder went first, but they fared no better than those who had gone before them. Last of all, the third, Boots, set off and found the princess in the farmyard. So here's a couple illustrations. It says, "We have an ox so big that when two men sit, one on each horn, they cannot hear one another." And on top, the third brother, Boots, set off. And on the bottom, "My mother gave your father such a dreadful box on the ear." Now we'll find out what this is about, right? So Boots set off and found the princess in the farmyard. "Good morning," he said, "and thank you for nothing." "Good morning," said she, "and the same to you." Then she went on, "You haven't such a fine farmyard as ours, I'll be bound, for when two shepherds stand one at each end of it and blow the ram's horns, the one can't hear the other." "Haven't we, though?" answered Boots. "Ours is far bigger, for when a cow begins to go with a calf at one end of it, she doesn't get to the other end before the time to drop her calf comes." "I dare say," said the princess. "Well, but you haven't such a big ox, after all, as ours yonder, for when two men sit, one on each horn, they can't touch each other with a 20-foot rule." "Stuff," said Boots. "Is that all? Why, we have an ox who is so big that when two men sit, one on each horn, and each one blows his great mountain trumpet, they can't hear one another." "I dare say," said the princess. "But you haven't so much milk as we have, I'll be bound, for we milk our kind into christen, into great pails, and carry them indoors and empty them into great tubs, so that we make great, great cheeses." "Oh, you do you?" said Boots. "Well, we milk ours into great tubs, and then we put them in carts and drive them indoors, and then we turn them out into great brewing vats, and so we make our cheeses as big as a great house. We had to a done man to tread the cheese well together when it was making, but once she tumbled down into the cheese and we lost her. And after we'd eaten all this cheese, 7 years, we came upon a great dun mare, alive and kicking. Well, once after that, I was going to drive this mare to the mill, and her backbone snapped in two, but it wasn't put out, not I, for I took a spruce sapling and put it into her for her backbone, and she had no other backbone all the while we had her. But the sapling grew up into such a tall tree that I climbed right up to the heaven by it, and when I got there, I saw the Virgin Mary sitting and spinning the foam of the sea into pig's bristle ropes. But just then, the spruce fir broke short off, and I couldn't get down again. So the Virgin Mary let me down by one of the ropes, and down I slipped straight into a fox's hole. And who should sit there but my mother and your father cobbling shoes? And just as I stepped in, my mother gave your father such a box in the ear that it made his whiskers curl. "That's a story," said the princess. "My father never did any such thing in his natural-born days." So Boots got the princess to wife, and half the kingdom besides.